Bird's Bees keeps your lips smooth. This podcast you're about to listen to, it has horribly offensive language, crude humor, and countless spoilers for things we guarantee haven't spoiled for you yet. No, it doesn't spoil things. Bird's Bees, that delicious lip balm. Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked there. Listener discretion is advised. If you're listening to this in a public place without headphones, you should probably use them. You should probably use some Bird's Bees brand headphones. This podcast isn't safe for anywhere, so you should probably stop right now. Get some Bird's Bees. Your lips are so dry. Bird's Bees will make your lips so moist. Kissably moist. Just come up and kiss you. Your moist lips. Sorry, got sidetracked there again. I just couldn't stop thinking about kissing everything I see. If you want to skip to a specific section of the show, the episode description, it's got like timestamps. You can use those. Now, sit back and relax and listen to two fat guys talk about smooth lips.
Welcome to the new year of pain.
Only if you're a Nintendo fan.
Which you now are.
I'm a Wii U owner.
Welcome to the family.
Doesn't mean that I'm a fan.
There is no leaving the family.
Yes, there is.
Except through death. And through selling your Wii U and moving on. Carlos and Dave, together at last for Two Fat Guys Talk, episode 62?
62.
And the title of this one is 2015...
2015 predictions about friggin' everything.
Excellent. Dave, how the hell are you doing?
Well, it's after Christmas. Good.
Yeah, nice. We're recording this on December 27th.
Yippers.
And you should be listening to it on December 31st. If it's not December 31st, I will clumsily record over the 31 in a very obvious voice. Oh, I've done it in the past.
I know. I do listen to these occasionally.
Occasionally, yes.
I trust you.
What's our first section?
Preamble and opening banter.
Oh, we're already into it. So,
That's the first category.
You wanted to bring up something during this preamble.
Yeah, what would say is your top 3 to 5 games in no particular order for 2014?
Yes, you asked me about this yesterday, and I scrambled to think of 3, and I think I've settled on 3.
It's actually harder than I thought it would be.
A little tough. In no particular order, my top 3 titles, and then I'll explain why I picked them, would be Shovel Knight, Mario Kart 8, and... what was it? Oh, yeah, Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition for PlayStation 4. Shovel Knight, which I got the Steam version of, because it is just a super well-playing homage, throwback to, and kind of evolution of the traditional 2D platformer with elements from just about everything you can think of. It has Mega Man elements, it has Castlevania elements, it has freaking Blaster Master elements, it has so many good things about it. I've wanted a Zelda 2 for a while, and I think this is the closest I'm going to get. It's like if Zelda 2 and Castlevania 3 and some
Mega
parts
Man.
of Castlevania 2 and Mega Man just kind of merged and had the awesomest baby. It plays well, it looks good, it sounds awesome. It has a surprisingly deep story for this type of game that I was not expecting from a game called Shovel Knight. It is a joy to play, and everyone should experience it. Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, because Mario Kart has not been this good since Double Dash, I think. And double carts from Double Dash are the only thing missing in this game that has upside-down, on-the-wall racing, really good and tight controls. You aren't spun out for as long when you're hit by something. That includes blue shells, even. More items and tweaking to the algorithm that gives you items makes the races seem fairer, at least. The online is surprisingly really good, and it is a super solid and super enjoyable and super beautiful Mario Kart game. And you can use multiple control options to boot. You're not stuck to the Wii U gamepad. And Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Ultimate Evil Edition for PlayStation 4 is just the definitive version of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. You play it on a gamepad, it gets patched just like the PC version, you get all the features. It has some of its own unique stuff, like the Last of Us random level you can get. PlayStation-themed transmog items, just super good and super tightly made and play super well. It's if you're gonna grind, make your grind enjoyable, and this is an enjoyable grind. Those would be my top 3. How about you, and why?
Well, I'm going to put a couple more in there because, well, I actually have more games on my list from 2014 than I thought. Much like you, Diablo is on there, the Ultimate Edition.
Yep.
Mario Kart deserves to be on there. Shovel Knight definitely deserves to be there. So your 3 are on there. But
do you have anything to add to the reasoning I gave?
Not really. I mean, Shovel Knight is just a great homage to the greats.
And the great in and of itself.
Mario Kart 8 is a very well done successor. Unlike the Wii version, which was
hot
ass.
Garbage. Fuck the Wii.
In fact, I stopped playing the Wii version the moment that I never get the title completely right. The Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed.
You were so close, you missed the end.
Whatever.
And I'll give you that.
Whatever. Because it was way superior to any Mario Kart up till then.
Very good game.
Even Double Dash, I'll say that the Sonic Racing was better.
Sure.
However, the 2 games that I will add on to that, and obviously, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I had played both games, Shadow of Mordor and Dragon Age would be on here, but I haven't, so I can't add them. I don't really think that Grand Theft Auto deserves to be on my list, for many reasons. I would put the Wolfenstein, the new Wolfenstein game on PS4/PC on there.
What was that title of that one?
Wolfenstein.
It's just called Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein.
I thought it was Wolfenstein New World Order or something.
1 second, I can actually fact check this one.
David is getting up, going over to his shelf.
The New World Order.
Okay. So Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, all in there?
They'd all be dead. And I'm not going to put on The Last of Us on this list because the PS4 version was really just a PS3 version with...
Doesn't matter. New game.
No,
2014
it's
game.
not.
It counts.
No.
Put it on your list, Dave.
I also haven't played the PS4 version. Why played the PS3?
That I can believe.
PS4 is on my shelf. It'll get played one day.
Indeed, and then I'll borrow it from you. But I buy all my games digitally, so I can't lend you anything back.
Yeah. Wow, I'll be borrowing Bayonetta too.
Oh yeah, for sure, when I'm done with it.
But the other game that deserves to be on my list is Bravely Default, the 3DS.
If I had played more of it, I would have included it as well. And I'm certain that once I do, I will agree. But I like the unprecedented control it gives you over stuff like your encounter rate, your difficulty, turning off experience so I can rub it in your face when I beat the game at level 4.
Which I know is not going to happen.
But why did you like it so much?
Well, the configuration system is nice.
Yes.
I did like the whole town system where you can basically build your town and benefit from it. The Nemesis system in there, which allowed me to exploit the living fuck out of it and steal items from the guy and then sell them for massive amount of money. But really, it was the storyline and the world. It was an enjoyable run.
It's like Final Fantasy done right for once.
And actually, I've wavered back and forth in this game a number of times now. Well, twice really. I actually, for a long time there, I basically said the first half of the game was a 10 out of 10. The second half was a 3. Tops. Until I realized that I was the one who was making it stupid, not necessarily the game.
Okay.
I'm not going to ruin that for you.
You go ahead, I'll still play it. Spoilers don't affect me that much anymore.
No, it's once you get into what I call the time loop. If you continue doing it, you can go through all the boss battles multiple times in that time loop, and the bosses will say different things and react differently because they kind of realize they're in a time loop as well, and they have memories from getting their ass kicked before, so they're getting more powerful and strategies are changing, but it doesn't even have to happen.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I had to change my rating again from right back up to, in this case, a 9 out of 10.
Most anticipated game of 2015.
Oh, fuck.
I'll tell you my answer. Against my better judgment and with very cautious optimism, Final Fantasy 15.
So you said 2015.
It's coming out this year, right?
I'm going to give you a sneak peek into one of my predictions. Final Fantasy 15 will not hit North American shores until 2016.
Well, I'm still counting it. So that's my most anticipated game of 2015. Go, Dave. You have 3 seconds.
The Witcher 3.
Okay, good job. Within the time limit. Most anticipated...
Now, we will have, near the end of our podcast, our typical, me looking up a list of games that are coming out and us saying whether we care or not.
Oh, do we have to?
Yes.
Can't we just masturbate a bit on the mic?
No.
Okay, that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Sort of glad you stopped me there. Things could have gotten out of hand real quick.
Yeah, shut up.
What's our next section?
Mailbagging Corrections.
Oh yeah, we have a bunch of mail message, I think, purely from Meowth. I sent out the call, and only she responded. So let's hear them. Anytime, Dave.
Hello, Carlos. Hello, Dave. It's Meowth900 again. I was wondering. I remember back in 2003, I was reading the Full Metal manga, and I heard the anime took a really weird turn, so never really watched it. Finished the manga. Never really heard much from the series aside from how awesome the series in 2003 was. Kind of fell out of anime outside the famous stuff like One Piece. And then 2012, that anime came out. I was so disappointed by it. You should know the name of it. SAO. The worst anime I probably ever saw in my life. Yeah, that kind of turned me away from anime for a little bit. Then I guess Adult Swim had like videos of Full Metal Brotherhood running, and I watched that and thought it was cool. Watched it all from beginning to end, and I love it. So I was wondering, hey Carlos, why do you hate Full Metal Brotherhood so much? Follows the manga accurately, has more action and more fun characters than the 2003 series did. And it also is animated better, in my opinion. Looks more modern. You can also introduce it to anime fans and or new people who think anime is all tentacle hentai and Dragon Ball Z. So I was wondering, why do you hate Full Metal Brotherhood so much? Is it the story?
Alright, so I was looking at my Netflix the other day, and the other day meaning last night, and in the anime section I'm like, oh, there's the 2003 Full Metal Alchemist series. And approximately 2 panels down was Steins Gate, and I nearly threw my PS4 controller at the PS4. So there are multiple parts to this. One is why I dislike Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and 2 is why David likes Sword Art Online. So here's the thing, and I will always preface this with, you like whatever you want to like. I like a lot of garbage things, so if I act all high and mighty, just remind me that I like Senran Kagura or Dynasty Warriors Gundam or some shit. Or The Cable Guy. I really love that movie. In 2003, the Full Metal Alchemist series, yeah, it took a turn that was not in the manga, but that's not why I think it's better. I don't necessarily think it's better or worse that the 2003 series is on an alternate Earth and the 2009 one is its own world altogether. The 2003 series, for my money, had far better character interaction between Edward and Alphonse, and didn't forget that they were the protagonists the same way that the 2009 series did with its circle jerking over fucking... What's the stupid Flame Alchemist's name again? What's that guy's name again, Dave? He's a Flame Alchemist.
Not Major Hughes.
No, but he was Major Hughes' best friend.
I know.
Roy
Mustang.
Roy Mustang. He was pretty much the main character that he might as well have been. And that anime, I felt, forgot who its main characters were. I also thought the 2003 show had way, way better dialogue. When the 2009 one came out, and it kind of expedited a lot of what the 2003 series already showed, I actually thought it was good. They were streamlining things, they were making two-parters one-parters, they weren't being overly vocal or expository. I actually really liked Brotherhood at first, but I think it was around when they went to that building where they had to fight that two-part samurai guy. Around that point, that's when
laboratory...
Lab 5 or something. That's when things kind of deviated, and we start going into manga territory. We get introduced to the characters from that world's China. We got introduced to characters that weren't in the 2003 series, like Olivia Armstrong. But that's also when the show started getting very wordy, where every single episode was just talking and talking and talking, and maybe a moment of meaningful exposition, followed by 95% boring, dull exposition, and nothing happened. And it was around episode 50 that I'm like, Dave, I can't do this anymore. And it left a very bad taste of Brotherhood in my mouth, where I still had very good memories of the 2003 series.
So to counter what Loser here says, yeah, he doesn't like it. I do like Brotherhood, very much so. Carlos actually saw up to episode 60. He just refused to watch the last 2 episodes to end it off because, in his words, stop. Where he says useless exposition, nothing happens, I actually enjoyed Brotherhood more because they remembered that Edward and Alphonse weren't gods. They needed the assistance of others, and I enjoyed it because it was very much a group effort versus 2 kids who basically were alchemy gods.
2 kids who were the main characters, and they were not gods before. How many times did Edward get impaled?
However, I also still have very fond memories of the 2003 one. I like where they deviated. Not so much where it was different for Hohenheim. I didn't like the whole path they went with him, but that's in comparison to the 2009 version. So they're fine. The first one was still a very good anime, and if I was to push somebody to one of the 2 right off the bat, I would put them to the 2003 version first.
You are correct, too.
I would then tell them, though, that if they wanted to see it done differently, I would still suggest Brotherhood.
That would not be dishonest, because it is definitely different.
Not everybody has your dissatisfaction for what they did in Brotherhood.
Oh, sure, but I mean, to talk about your group thing, like, yeah, there were supporting characters in the 2003 version as well. They were still important. Roy Mustang killed the Fuhrer in the 2003 one. Like, Roy Mustang was still important. He just wasn't, like eclipsing the Elrics.
To comment on a couple other things you said there, Meow, I'd really like to hear what part of SAO threw you off, because I'm actually very curious whether it was you didn't like the first half or it was the second half, like a lot of people have talked to, that killed it for them. And if we're talking good taste, you mentioned One Piece. I'm sorry, you lose.
Yeah, didn't she say that she saw One Piece and she was disappointed by it?
No.
Or was that SAO?
That was SAO.
What's wrong with One Piece?
Oh, dude, come on.
Zoro uses 3 swords.
Here's the thing.
Less wordy than Brotherhood.
Actually, no. Anybody who tries to tell me... I mean, Dragon Ball gets the adjective to it of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Because it does.
It drags on.
One Piece is worse. Way fucking worse for dragging shit on than Dragon Ball ever was, I tried to read the manga of One Piece, and I finally had to give up. I could never get into the anime because it's just like, come on, this took 20 pages of the manga, and we're 7 episodes in. It was like the fucking Frieza Saga for every chapter.
5 minutes. The planet will explode in 5 minutes.
18 episodes later.
Yeah.
It's just like One Piece and Bleach do the exact same fucking thing in that they took the Dragon Ball formula and lengthened it. What the fuck?
Yeah, kind of like Brotherhood. Let's go on to your next voicemail.
No, apologies if the background noise got a little bit out of hand. Mom's talking on the phone. She talks on the phone really loudly. Anyways, Meowth900 again with question number 2. This is quite recent, actually. That weird movie, The Interview, came out, and I heard, Sony decided to not show it in the movie theaters. For some reason, I don't know, Terrorist 1 or something? I am confused by this. I am very confused. I don't know if this will be a part of your podcast or just part of the voicemails, but what are your thoughts on this whole The Interview movie and how Sony is, pulling it away from theater distribution and all the theaters are saying, oh, we can't play this, we might get sued, or something like that. I am confused by this. And I don't really pay attention to much of the stuff about movies as I do with video games. So I was wondering what were your guys' thoughts, since this is sort of a two fat guys talk about everything instead of two fat guys talk about video games. Which is fine, because sometimes you don't have enough news with video games, and you can have news on other stuff. TV shows, movies, comic books. Speaking of which, Game of Thrones Season 4 is going to come out on iTunes pretty soon. I am stoked.
Okay, that was the second voicemail from Meowth for this segment.
Game of Thrones is on my list, and I'm actually tackling that list, so I will get to it.
See, Game of Thrones, if you want to watch it over here, we can.
We can, I feel like.
I've been curious. I know a little bit about from the books I read way back when, but that's not going to ruin anything for the TV series.
We can do it as an anime rave, the same way we did Tried for Hackers, and actually stick to the silly concept of pretending it's an anime.
As far as the interview goes and the Sony hack and everything else, some of the information you really need to keep in mind for this one is the U.S. is blaming North Korea. North Korea is saying they didn't do it. The politics there, aside for who did what, well, I guess I can't say push away the politics completely because it's entirely what this is. For the interview, Sony was basically threatened that if they released it, theaters would get hit with 9/11 style attacks.
Yep.
And it wasn't Sony. Sony wasn't going to pull the movie. However, the 5 biggest movie theater chains in North America, Cineplex, I can't name the other ones. I'm just going to say.
I think Cineplex is Canadian. Well, you said North America, so
yeah.
You're right.
Cineplex being one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
They all said, yeah, we're not showing this movie because they didn't want the liability if something did happen, which is a cop-out, but also I can't completely blame.
I thought Sony was involved, and that the direction came from Japan, because Japan is within striking distance of North Korea.
Sony only decided to pull the movie after the 5 major chains said we're not playing it.
But now they're showing it in a limited fashion.
Then Sony was like, okay, well, no, we're now deciding to pull the video as if they were going to do so before the 5 other chains said, fuck you. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
It was their way of coming back and trying to make it them doing it versus a reaction to the 5 major chains, which really does show how much power the movie theaters have over
the movie
companies.
Movie industry in general has a lot of power.
So, but then, you're right, Sony then released Limited to some theaters, but they weren't any of those 5 major groups. They were independents. And they released it on Xbox Live. They wanted to put it on iTunes, but Apple wasn't playing ball. A couple other groups funny enough, it went to Xbox Live in time for Christmas. It didn't go to PSN in time for Christmas.
Microsoft fighting for freedom?
They couldn't get it on their own service fast enough
Than their rivals.
Which is hilarious.
That's funny.
However, the limited run of it that was done in the States in the independent theaters sold out because of patriotism.
Of course, because this movie that, for all intents and purposes, is probably decided the average.
Oh, not even that. People, the actual reviewers that went to saw it, they said this movie wasn't worth $1 million, let alone.
I want to see it. Let's get our tenses right here.
Those who saw it said it doth suck.
That's better. Yeah, this movie's probably decidedly average or mediocre at best. But I mean, it's kind of funny how this all played out. I think I hate censorship. I think we should be allowed to show art as is, as long as it is not
tasteless.
It's not even that. Art can be tasteless. It can't be unnecessarily offensive, I guess. Like, it can have all the rights in the world, but can't take away the rights of others. That's how I feel about religions or any other ideology. Believe anything you want to believe, but your customs end where they infringe on the rights and freedoms of others. So if a movie is, like, promoting hate speech, it's infringing on the rights and freedoms of others. If it is talking about a scenario wherein the North Korean dictator gets assassinated during an interview, that is not infringing on anyone's rights and freedoms. It offends North Korea because they're a totalitarianistic regime that can barely feed its own people, that commits countless human rights abuses, and wants to whitewash all that within its own country into the world. That's why they're reacting that way. Because really, Kim Jong-un should be assassinated, and his stupid country should be liberated from the yoke of human rights indignities that they suffer all the time. And oppression, you're right, is the right word. And it's interesting how this pans out. They try to stop it, and it becomes more popular than ever. Ironically, it became a martyr. What do I think about the whole situation? It's complicated and comical.
The actual hack of Sony is just one more example that the big studios cannot keep their network safe from hackers that want to hack them.
It's partly, dipshit hackers being assholes, and thinking that they're entitled to be assholes because freedom. Sony and other studios and even Microsoft got hit by some of them just being very lax in security because money. It's a terrible two-pronged situation. But yeah, assholes.
Yep. Let's go on to voicemail number 3.
Yep.
Last voicemail, I swear. Okay. So, I know Carlos had a recent rambling about how much he hates Christmas. And I've come to terms that I do not hate Christmas, but I'm not a big fanatic about it. I mean, I am okay with things like holiday songs playing on the radio and Christmas trees in the stores. I mean, it's good because you get days off from work and school, but it's bad because you have to hang out with family, and I don't really do well with such events. I don't know why I don't do well. It's probably because of unnecessary stress, because, all family members have different personalities, and I just don't want to deal with it. I would rather just be in my room playing my video games. Speaking of which, video games, I've been playing Bayonetta 2, trying to get into Wind Waker again, but it's hard, and Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, trying to figure out how to get stronger, and it's taking forever and a half. But anyways, Carlos, do you hate all holidays, or is it just Christmas and New Year's and all the holidays that involve getting together with family? Because some holidays are nice. Holidays give you days off from work and school. That's always a plus for me. Yep.
That was voicemail number 3 from me up.
I don't hate all holidays. Just Christmas, New Year's. Valentine's Day.
Easter.
The spring solstice. Summer solstice. Fall and winter solstice is also on that list. Halloween.
Why do you hate Halloween?
Canada Day. Independence Day in the States. Hate that. Hate any Independence Day from any country, including June 10th for Portugal. Portugal Day. Carnaval in February. That's a Portuguese costume day. It's kind of like their Halloween, but without the spooky horror elements of it. Civic holidays. Labor Day.
So
yeah, I hate all holidays.
Fill in a reason here, buddy boy.
Christmas is bullshit, as we've established in the past.
You're wrong.
I don't really hate all holidays, truly. Yeah, they're days off and they're time I get to myself. But Christmas carries this expectation that you need to get together with people who you may not want to get together with, that you somehow owe family time and attention, even if you don't feel that way. And make no mistake, I did spend the holidays with family this year. But I spent it with the couple members of my family I like, namely my brother and cousin who have been on the show before. And that's it, for the most part, because... And this is the thing people don't get about Christmas. You don't owe anybody your time. Your family, and I'm not saying my family's like this, but if your family doesn't support you, if your family's pretty vile and toxic, and you don't want to be part of their celebrations, you don't gotta be. And a lot of people assume Christmas means you gotta be. Also, the entire notion and the pressure of gift giving and receiving, and in some households, getting scrutinized for your religious views at this time of year, and the whole war between like right-wing politicians talking about a non-existent war on Christmas, and equally right-wing new atheists fighting that bait and arguing that there should be a war on Christmas. It just all gets tiring. It makes the holidays kind of suck for me. At best, I'm indifferent towards the whole holiday situation. But I don't hate all holidays, though. I'm indifferent at best. I don't celebrate any one of them in particular.
I don't know. You've dressed up with the group for Halloween.
Purely for the benefit of
had fun.
Purely for the benefit of myself and the people I was hanging out with.
Yeah, and you had fun.
I would have done that Halloween or not, if I had the costume handy. The day Halloween means nothing to me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not really a holiday. It's not a stat.
No.
I was still at work.
Yeah.
Okay, I lied. This is the last one, I swears. This happened right after I sent in the voicemails I sent in yesterday. I got told that I watch too much cartoons, and I watch cartoons to an extreme degree. Of course, this is coming from the same dude who talks about Monster Hunter and Gundam a lot, but I digress. Anyways, question number 1, are my binge habits really that bad? And question number 2, have you guys ever been told that you do stuff to an extreme degree by somebody? I mean, for me, I get told that a lot, but I don't know. I don't really think my binge habits are too bad. I mean, crazy people like me are reasons why sites like Hulu, Netflix, and Crunchyroll, and pirate sites exist. You know? I mean, that's what they're made for. I mean, in 100 years from now, that type of habit will be okay. So, maybe I'm ahead of the future or something. I don't know. That's what I think.
So I think I know the individual who was giving you hassle. I'm not going to mention any names or whatnot, but feel free to direct that person to this segment of this show as we answer this question.
While I don't know the person or I wouldn't know names, to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer. If anyone really tells you you're binging too much on cartoons and whatnot, and you know it's not negatively impacting your life, they can go fuck themselves.
Because here's the thing. No different from a person spending their whole day watching sports to a person who just wants to sit down and watch a fucking anime or a cartoon or a TV series. It doesn't matter. We all have our interests. And you're no more or less of a geek or a nerd or whatever negative connotation they want to put towards this than that person is for liking Gundam and
Monster Hunter.
I mean, yeah, they're playing Monster Hunter, so they're already lame, but...
And I know that the person in question, if it is who I think it is, once tried to get me to play Monster Hunter, and I told him I don't care, it's not my thing. And he wouldn't leave me the fuck alone about it. I eventually started being rude to the guy to get him to leave me the fuck alone. Like, at one point I said, I don't like playing shitty games. Not that I think it's shitty necessarily, but
you know,
if an individual is being obsessive compulsive to an insidious degree and then they're getting pissed at you for doing it, fuck them further.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned you play Monster Hunter there, Meowth. I'm not against the game, but I've played Monster Hunter, and it's your typical Japanese game made to be hard and grindy just for the sake of being hard and grindy, so it's not my thing.
I'm okay with games that are made for the sake of being one thing. There's a way to do that, right? Like, there are games that are deliberately made to be difficult and challenging, but you can do that the wrong way and make it just frustrating like Battletoads, or you can make it like Dark Souls where you feel good after having done it.
And even then,
and again,
times not.
Difficulty is subjective.
Yeah.
There are people who can play Toho games like it's second nature and never take a hit. And you put them in Halo Legendary and they will crumple. And there are people who can annihilate Legendary in Halo who can barely beat a level in a Mario game. Like, difficulty is subjective.
It is. And the sort of games you like are subjective. But yeah, no, I mean, you are right, Meowth, in that these sites are made to, well, except for pirate sites. I won't touch those, but...
Of course.
But, I mean, really, these sites are there so that you can watch an entire season and you don't have to wait for the next episode. There's nothing wrong with waiting so you can watch an entire season versus watching an episode a week. Bottom line is there's no way they can justify the fact that you might be going overboard and watching these things unless it was hurting your health.
Like if you find yourself going through rapid weight loss and perhaps you are you're selling things for crack so that you can sell the crack for money to feed another habit, maybe you got a problem. I'm almost certain you're fine.
Yeah.
And holy shit, do I obsess with things? Have you ever heard me talking about lesbians? If you go look at my Tumblr account, every second thing I reblog is a lesbian picture or sentiment. Like, let's talk obsession for a second here.
And let's not.
Like, but what I mean is, I'm a perfectly healthy individual. Physically, my only problem is that I'm overweight, and this has nothing to do with obsessing over video games or movies or TV. It has to do with neglecting my health. And that's an entirely separate issue. So, I mean, you can be obsessive and you can enjoy the things you like. All these new games come out, and the most exciting ones to me are the 2D platformers. Like, yeah, there are all these awesome new revolutionary storytelling, super polished mechanic, AAA titles, and Mighty Number 9 is the one that I'm looking at above all else. I mean, that's my obsession, and Dave is obsessed with cocks, just obsessed with so many cocks all the time.
Just be quiet.
Everywhere he looks, cock. Don't kill me, Dave.
You're already dead.
No. Yeah. But yeah, honestly,
yeah, no, just
you're fine.
Just tell the person to go fuck themselves and move on.
You're fine. Fine. Cool.
That's been the voicemails.
That's voicemails, folks. If you wanna get in on this voicemail action, just go to our website, twofatguystalk.com. Click the send voicemail button on the side and go to town. What's next?
What'd you do?
I added a new WoW add-on for the first time since I swore I never would, purely to manage my garrison missions. I really like that add-on. Garrison missions seem to be what I spend my majority with letting my subscription lapse in WoW.
Which is hilarious, because you've got one add-on, I've got like 30.
Yeah. You're an add-on fiend. I used to be an add-on fiend. I got sick of maintaining them all. But I think I can maintain one little add-on.
It'll be broken next week.
It'll be broken the moment it's patched. What else have I been doing? I've been terribly busy over Christmas. I've been editing the Sailor Moon anime raves because I wanted to get them out more frequently than I have. I've been looking through Netflix for some shows I need to polish off my list.
Which SAO is one of those.
Yeah, it's there. I saw it.
I do have to say, I don't know, Meowth, if you gave a chance to Season 2. Don't.
A ringing endorsement from the man who was like, the first one's not so bad.
You know, I still like the first one, both halves. I like it. It has its problems, but so do most animes. But Season 2 took 26 episodes to get out what should have been done in maybe 8 to 10. Where they could have spent more time with the first half of Season 1 and made that a full season very easily, they should have condensed this one so much.
Condensation is usually good. There are times when I think things need to be longer,
Yeah.
but not nearly as often as times I think they need to be shorter. And this applies to films, to TV shows, to anime, to non-anime animation, to movies, to even video games. Sometimes I think an 80-hour game could have been 10 hours and better. Length is not always great.
Or just not exist, like Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, that might have been good for Final Fantasy 13 to not exist.
But yeah, no. So that's what you've been doing.
I saw an Avril Lavigne music video. It was a shitty song, but the music video was pretty funny because it kept cutting in and out between the reality in the post-apocalyptic future she was in and a comic book. Like, there's at one point where she was hunting down this guy who had a bounty on his head, and when he took off his alien mask, it was a bear shark. And then the comic showed Avril Lavigne, and below it was comic book text saying, "Holy fuck!" Like, "Holy shit, a bear shark!" And then on the bear shark, it's like, "Holy shit, Avril Lavigne!" And then they started fighting.
I think that's the scarier part.
And then they started fighting, and Avril Lavigne had what could only be called if a guitar had sex with a Lancer from Gears of War, because it had a guitar and then it had a saw blade on it. The song blew, but the music video was hilarious.
Well, that's Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. There are scenes like the dog driving their car crashed, and the Avril Lavigne and this other girl were arguing. They're like, "You shouldn't have let him drive! You saw that he was drinking!" And then they had, for no reason, a kiss. And then a voiceover being like, "And that day, after I kissed her, we both wondered what happened. We never talked about it after." And just out of place, completely out of place with the rest of the video. I was also gushing over the fact that Korra and Asami are a canon couple.
Just fine.
More canon lesbians, please. Everyone who makes television.
And actually, you're incorrect in that. You're very incorrect.
The creators came out and said it. The show confirms it.
You're still incorrect. They did not say they're lesbians.
Said they're a couple.
Bisexual. Very
sorry! I'm so sorry we didn't get...
You're wrong.
Okay. Technically correct. However, two bisexual women can be a lesbian couple. And two bisexual men can be a gay couple. Seriously, Dave just loves cocks everywhere. What the hell have you been doing? Other than cocks.
Other than looking at your ugly face?
That hurts, man! That hurts!
Good. Been playing some Zelda the Wind Waker on my Wii U. Been playing the Mario 3D World.
Great game.
Both very good games. Wind Waker, I like how they tightened a bunch of stuff up so it doesn't take quite as long, but unfortunately, you're still sailing around. They did do one thing that I like. They gave you an additional sail to put on your ship. So you go, it takes the wind right out of the equation. You put up your normal sail, then you put up the red sail that you won in the auction, and it just zoom. It's like 3 times the speed, and wind no longer matters.
Might as well have just given you an airship or some shit.
Sure. Other than that, I've been playing a very minor amount of World of Warcraft compared to what I was doing earlier in the month and last month. Fired up Guild Wars 2 and put a lot of hours into that, though.
Pretty game. You have to play it more.
There are games I want to play. Well, I'd love to buy Shadows of Mordor and Dragon Age Inquisition, but not right now. Other than that, just got in the new Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear Xrd.
Gotta start playing that. Been playing Diablo. Been playing... I even fired up Destiny for a few minutes. It still sucks as much as before, but I love the mechanics.
Sure.
That's the and hey, on one TV, have a TV show playing. I can totally watch the TV show and still get the mechanics of Destiny.
It's because Destiny doesn't need that much attention.
No,
really.
it doesn't. It doesn't. That's really all I've been doing.
Delightful. There's something else you have to do. And that's mentioned in the next section.
Parting thoughts?
No, you're the worst.
No, this segment is Dave and Carlos predict the shit of 2050.
Yes. And it's not just games anymore, it's predicting everything now.
Now, let's lead this section up. Oh, we already did our top games.
Yeah, we did. Originally, I'm like, prepare a list, and then you're like, fuck it, we're just going to shoot from the hip. I arrive here, and you have a list prepared.
I have, like, 7 things.
I have 0 things. Okay.
Why the hell don't you have a list?
Because you told me not to make one!
Why didn't you start listening to me now? You never do any other time.
I will drop kick your spleen so hard.
The very definition of a drop kick is you have to get above the person, and I don't see centimeters being big enough.
I will stamp your toe with the fury of the gods.
You don't believe in gods?
Don't worry. I believe in their fury, though.
Oh, classical.
Yes, indeed.
So, what are some of your predictions for... Well, let's start with the games industry.
Sure.
Let's start with Nintendo.
I predict that the Wii U is going to continue the comeback it made in 2014 and really start just kicking the shit out of its competitors in 2015. Despite the fact that I'm also predicting that Sony and Microsoft are finally going to start moving forward on their systems in 2015. You know, the ones they introduced 2 years ago. Gaming...
Actually, only a year ago.
Whatever. I predict Street Fighter V is going to be out sooner than we think, and it's going to blow, because the live gameplay demo they showed blew.
Didn't watch it.
It pretty much looks like a prettier Street Fighter 4.
So, really no point then.
Yeah, garbage. You know, I don't have too many gaming predictions this year. Last year I had a ton.
Well, it was right after, the consoles launched. For the most part. So there was a lot more uncertainty as far as what path certain companies were going to go down.
I'll tell you this much. Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, 2015 is going to be a killer year for all of them. I think they're all going to find some measure of really wild success in some way.
Okay.
But you're gonna disagree with that, no doubt.
I'll
name some of your gaming predictions you prepared in advance.
Well,
after telling me not to.
In 5 minutes. I think Sony is going to come out on top in 2015.
Oh God, this prediction again.
Yes. I think they're going to have more games, first-party exclusives, and less headaches than Xbox.
Maybe. That's definitely a possibility.
I think Xbox is going to buy more third-party timed exclusives than Sony will.
Who's going to buy Capcom?
Sony.
Yeah, probably. Continue.
Nintendo will... I think Nintendo is going to maintain the status quo. They're still not going to gain much third-party support, and will still be riding on its first-party titles throughout 2015.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, they're going to have the Xenoblade sequel, but for the most part, you've got the new Zelda, which I don't think the North America is going to see until 2016. Because Nintendo does not do same-day releases for Japan.
It usually
North
doesn't
America.
take that long for a game to come out here from Nintendo.
Yeah, but we're still it's still got a December 2015 label in most stores. That means they have no fucking clue when it is near the end of the year.
If it does come out in December 2015, that means in the same month we're going to have what could possibly be the best 3D Zelda game yet, and the Force Awakens.
We'll see. I think the new Gears of War title will be announced this year. Obviously, Xbox One exclusive.
Fuck.
But that it will not ship until 2016.
Okay.
The new Final Fantasy 15 will not be out in English until 2016.
Fuck your face.
The new Kingdom Hearts game, 2016.
Yeah, fuck that game.
New Zelda game. I think, actually, my prediction here is that the new Zelda game will be out in 2015. I also believe that EA will allow their games back onto Steam.
Yeah, you think they're done with the Origin crap?
I don't think they're done, but I think they realize they will make more money selling it, allowing the game to be sold through Steam than they are through their own system.
Do you have any Valve-related predictions?
Fuck Valve.
They're going to announce Half-Life 3 this year.
No, they're not.
I predict it.
I predict that we will hear about a Portal game or another. What was that other one? That zombie rush thing.
Oh, yeah. Left 4 Dead.
Or another Left 4 Dead game, but I pretty much gave it up on Half-Life 3. I really believe that when he says that we'll only do Half-Life 3 until I can come up with a good story for it, means much like George Lucas and the sequels, dead.
He's going to sell it to Disney, and Disney's going to make Half-Life 3? Does that mean that Gordon Freeman is a Disney hero? Because that changes a few things.
I think Gordon Freeman would take out some Jedi fuckers with his crowbar.
Yeah, and some Marvel fuckers too. And Mickey's just dead. Donald will survive. He's always been more resilient.
But yeah, the way things are going right now in gaming, I mean, the predictions I made are based on, how I've felt and how they've done historically, but I mean, I was wrong on Xbox going back to a Kinect based system. They totally gotten rid of it pretty much on base systems. Nintendo's made a comeback, but what has it made a comeback on? Like always, Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. It's what they've done ever since the GameCube.
If Nintendo can succeed only on first-party titles, let them succeed only on first-party titles. I don't think they can succeed only on first-party titles.
Neither do I.
But if they can, more power to them. I'm enjoying my Wii U, damn it. I'd like it to live a little longer now that I have one.
Well, so do I. I would like more, because Mario Kart 8, what they've done with the Zelda Wind Waker, Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors, when you're playing one player, looks better than Dynasty Warriors 8 on PS4.
Having played it quite a bit, I argue it's probably the best Dynasty Warriors game as well.
That wouldn't take much.
You left before you saw me fight that boss, but that boss shits all over the elite unit idea and these shitty giant mechas from Dynasty Warriors Gundam. Because, there's literally tactics and strategy in this Dynasty Warriors game. Theoretically, there should be in any Dynasty Warriors. And half the reason that I like some of them, namely the Gundam ones, is because I miss TIE Fighter so much, and I see objectives and changing objectives and allied units and stuff, and I'm like, I miss TIE Fighter. I'm going to play Zelda TIE Fighter.
Bottom line is they're limited in what they can do with a quote-unquote mock historical system like that. They can't bring in, a monster Dynasty Warriors, much like Zelda or Hyrule Warriors, would work much better with the system than it does within Dinosaurs.
There are a lot of things that I think would work better as a Musou game. Final Fantasy could be a Musou game.
Yeah.
How many heroes do you have that you can draw from?
You'd have to pay per character, though.
Maybe. I mean, if Tecmo Koei handles it. Oh god, Tecmo Koei is the lesser of two evils?
No, not at all. Tecmo Koei and fucking Square would get along just well with the DLC rim job they give you.
You know, the thing about rim jobs is that sometimes they can be quite pleasant.
Stop. But yeah, no, Nintendo, I hope, can pull in some third-party. What Nintendo needs, they need to have third-party games that are made for the system and aren't just downgrade versions of major games on the other two.
I predict
that's what they need, because then you get, Batman Armored Up, which was visibly worse.
Batman Armored Up?
Batman Arkham City Armored Edition.
Where did you get Batman Armored Up from? Were you thinking of Mega Man Powered Up?
No, I wasn't.
Like, it's a cute name. If you make like a little chibi Batman game that's like Mega Man Powered Up, you should call it Batman Armored Up.
But even there, talk to Capcom and release a series of Mega Man games in that style.
I would love to see that.
But they're never going to do it because Capcom is still whoring out Mega Man 1 through 8 at $7 a pack.
I would love to see a Legends pack for Wii U with Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 and Misadventures of Tron-Bon. I'm predicting and hoping that there are going to be some North American third parties who answer that call. You hear a lot of third parties in the States, their heads of development, talk good things about the Wii U. Cliffy B has talked good things about the Wii U, for instance. New Jazz Jackrabbit made for Wii U? Won't happen.
No.
Would be nice.
No, there's the other thing. There's only so much the past characters you can bring back that people are going to give them.
I want something out of left field. I want, Unreal Tournament Mario Edition.
Too violent for Nintendo?
No, it wouldn't even be violent. It would be Mario characters, and their weapons would be like fire flowers and stuff. They're doing Splatoon.
Come back when you want to be an adult.
The fuck? Wow! Just rake me over the coals. Just punch out my spleen.
I mean,
eat it, put it back.
Splatoon is a neat idea that I'm glad they're bringing out, but Nintendo already has the label of being a console made for kiddie games. Yes, they're.
You don't give them that label? Dumb people. Dumb people give them that label. Because in some people's head, cartoony and non-violent means kiddie.
Or just the fact that whenever a major third-party game goes to it, it gets toned down because of Nintendo's own rules.
Nintendo doesn't have as many rules as you think. They can have M-rated games that are just as bad, as some of these developers are afraid to release that kind of game on the Wii U. Now, there is an issue there, of course. I should be allowed to play something very violent on my Wii U if I so choose. Even though I don't need violence in my games, if it is going to be there, I like it to be there in spades. If there's going to be violence, I want Terraform Mars shit, man. I want it to go all out. But there have been violent and horrific, and not bad horrific, but horrific games on Nintendo consoles before. So, I mean, yeah, Nintendo has some weird rules, like with Binding of Isaac and whatnot. And
yeah,
I still don't get that one.
They wanted to put Binding of Isaac onto it, but Nintendo wouldn't relax their rules on religious icons and blood.
Which is weird, because there have been more violent games that have been released on Nintendo consoles and on this one, and on the 3DS of all things. So, I mean, it's strange. There are a lot of weird isms to how all these companies conduct their business, right? So, all right, let's predict other things. Dave, predict the plot of Star Wars Episode 7.
I don't know if you go and look up the video of an interview with Mark Hamill after they did Star Wars Episode 6. I think he pretty much nailed the storyline of 7 right in the dot back then.
Which is?
He talked about, him turning into a hermit much like Obi-Wan Kenobi, the fact that they hadn't won the war, that Han and Leia were married with kids on the run. Literally, the old interview popped up on YouTube here recently, and it's like, wow, he may have gotten this spot on back then.
Or George Lucas was running out of ideas, and when he was, because I guess he had some ideas for an episode 7 around. Maybe he just went off of Mark Hamill's interview.
Actually, according to a couple off-the-record interviews with some Skywalker Ranch people, George Lucas had actually 7, 8, and 9 completely written in multiple forms right after Episode 6 was done. But he never thought they were good enough.
I wonder how much J.J. Abrams took. Or whoever his writer is he's directing. But
I'm really hoping that Disney took the couple good ideas that would have been in there and did their own thing, because
George Lucas,
after the prequels, there's no faith there.
Agreed. I predict that the trailer, the current teaser, told us a bunch. Luke may be a hermit, but when the evil voice talks about the dark side and the light and the awakening, I think it's because there's so few Jedi that...
I think they're talking a rebalancing, much like they were supposedly talking about in the prequels.
Or sort of like what happened in the Legend of Korra universe, where suddenly there are new airbenders just popping up because they need to rebalance the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think there's going to be people who suddenly become Force sensitive. I think the black character, and they released, apparently their names were revealed, but I don't recall what this was.
I love how they revealed the names.
Trading cards!
There aren't actually trading cards. They were done on fake, old-style trading card digital versions. And I was looking through them. No names I can see at the top of my head.
They're all Star Wars-y names, for sure.
It was awesome how they did it, because it was a throwback to the classic Star Wars cards.
Yeah, the Topps cards.
Yeah.
But that black character, who's apparently the protagonist, I bet you that scene where he just looked up in the sky, that's exactly when he became Force sensitive. I bet you that's exactly what happened.
I don't think he's a Force sensitive, actually.
It would be cool to have a main character who's not. I would not argue against that. I don't think every important character, even every protagonist in Star Wars, needs to be Force sensitive.
Would you say in Empire Strikes Back specifically that Luke and Han shared the protagonist roles? Because if you look at screen time, they pretty much have it's like 55-45 kind of thing.
Screen time doesn't necessarily determine that. Look at Godzilla.
Yeah, but I mean, they were very much separate protagonists.
In a way, yeah. There were two threads going on there.
Yeah.
And both stories ended in succumb. They both gave in and lost to set up the sequel, which, in a way, Han was kind of...
4 and 6.
You're kind of blowing my mind a bit, because Han was very important in all of them.
Well, 4 and 6, it was very much they shared it.
You mean 5 and 6?
No, I'm saying 4 and 6, because when Han was important, Luke was there as well. In 6, same thing. They shared... The only time they split was, Luke ended up on the Death Star near the end, and Han was still down on the planet. So at that point, they split a little bit.
But everyone got a piece of the importance role there, though.
Part 5, literally, Luke was in one place for most of the movie, Han and Leia were in another, and it was very much two separate stories that then came back together near the end.
That's an interesting take. Would I call Han a protagonist in 5?
I definitely would.
You've given me reason enough to go back and watch Empire Strikes Back. Not that I need too much reason, given that's the best of the films.
You know, I disagreed with you a lot over the years on that, but I've come around to saying that it's probably just a little bit ahead in my mind than Return of the Jedi.
And I came around to not thinking Return of the Jedi is a giant shit pile. Although I do think it's definitely the weakest of the original three.
I don't think so anymore. I think that's where his creativeness came to a head. He had a lot of really good ideas there that just worked out. Everything from the Ewoks to Jabba the Hutt, it's all done so masterfully how they went everything in a row.
I definitely think Return of the Jedi is a super soul-lifting movie. Like, that movie makes you want to go rah, rah, hooray the rebels, in a way that only Independence Day could match. But I mean, I don't think any of the Star Wars movies are truly wretched, not even the prequels. Although the prequels...
Number two.
Okay.
Number two is the worst Star Wars movie they've made.
I agree. But you can look left or right and find worse movies than Attack of the Clones. Not Star Wars movies. Movies, period. And the prequels do not touch the original three at all. But, and I have a huge article I'm writing about this for when I relaunch my site. I have a lot to say about Star Wars and how episode numbers are ordered and assigned, and how the prequels actually are the sequels because they kind of enhance the universe
in ways talked about this.
Yeah, but I mean, back to The Force Awakens, I think what's going to happen is, in addition to people awakening to the Force, that the villain may well be trying to use the light and the dark side. We may be getting a morally ambiguous villain, perhaps even a Jedi, who is definitely of the lawful evil alignment. Not unlike Palpatine, who is lawful evil for sure. Who is... They take the Jedi tenets to a ludicrous degree. Even more so than the incompetent Council of Jedis from the prequels. Which is one thing I liked about the prequels. The Jedi were incompetent. Like, they were stupid.
Actually, you know something? I would argue they weren't incompetent, but they were blinded by their superiority, and nothing like this had happened in millennia. They were sure that they were, number one, the good guys, and number two, that the dark side was in check and gone.
You know what? I agree with you, and that's a good observation, but that's why I think they were incompetent. Because you never believe that about the dark side, especially if you're a Jedi.
When you're blind to your own...
privilege, power, ability.
Well, but when you're blind to the
there's
reality.
There's meat in the prequels. They're bad.
Yeah,
but there's salvageable things in there.
But it comes out when you're talking, not when you're watching.
This is true.
It comes forward when you're dissecting it.
I was going to say that the Jedi Council is nowhere near as bad as the Guardians of Oa, but they're probably a little bit worse than the incompetent robot elders from Futurama.
Sure.
Yeah. But I think we might be seeing a light side villain, or a villain who can somehow deftly switch between the two, or coast the line. Which, both things I've wanted out of Star Wars for so long.
I'm just very much hoping. I mean, they've already said the expanded universe is done. They're not...
Well, there's going to be a new expanded universe.
I'm just hoping that they're not referencing this bad guy based off of Jason Skywalker.
Yeah,
because he was...
Jason Solo.
Solo.
I'm pretty sure Jason and Jaina do not exist in this canon.
Probably not, but I'm just hoping they don't. Because
that girl on the speeder is Han and Leia's daughter.
Is that for sure now?
Wasn't that on the trading card?
I didn't see one of that.
Okay, disregard them.
But no, Jason made a very convincing
Sith,
but he wasn't evil in what he was trying to do, at least at first, as it always is.
You know, it's funny about the Sith, while we're on this topic. In the original trilogy, there is no mention that evil Force users with lightsabers are called Sith. Darth Vader is called the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yeah.
But there's no specific affirmation that they are all collectively known as the Sith.
Nope.
So much so that if you recall in the Heir to the Empire books by Timothy Zahn and the graphic novel made of them, the evil Force user there, he was not called a Sith, he was called a Dark Jedi. When they referred to Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, they were called Dark Jedi. Because Sith hadn't been cemented yet.
Well, no. Actually, that part of their history had been lost.
No, that's not true. In the prequels, Sith everywhere. Dark Lord of the Sith. Sith.
Yes.
Sith. I am Sith. Sith.
Yes.
Sith.
However, Palpatine destroyed most of the history of the Jedi to the point that when the rebels took Coruscant, he had that part of the museum that had been locked away. He had turned into a playground for himself where he basically destroyed statues and stuff like that. A big chunk of the history of the Jedi, including the Sith, was rediscovered there. So as far as the Alliance knew, Sith wasn't even a word in their language anymore.
Why do you got to do this to me, Dave? I'm trying to
What,
shit
you
on
mean
Star.
logic?
I'm trying to shit on Star Wars, and you're just like, where do you learn these habits? I just don't understand.
Oh, it's so easy. But I think we can agree that come Star Wars Episode 7, we're both hoping that 7's going to be awesome.
I am cautiously optimistic, and I will predict this, that 7 is going to be, at the very least, very good.
I sure hope so, because...
If it's just good, I'll take that, given what the prequels gave me.
7... I mean, Disney's doing it.
J.J. Abrams is the big
J.J. Abrams
key
is
factor.
involved. And I mean, let's face it, they've done so well with their Marvel films.
Plus, even I've watched that teaser so many times, and I'm watching stuff like real costumes, real sets.
Yeah.
There is a lot of care put behind there, and that should hopefully reflect in the rest of the movie.
It shows a lot of caring, which is why I always really respected Jim Henson, his studio.
Yeah. Didn't he do a bunch of the puppets for Star Wars?
Yes.
Maybe a Jim Henson company owned by Disney is going to also help out here.
Oh, you can be sure.
Disney's going to own everything soon, man.
That wouldn't be so bad.
Oh, God. Oh, God, I just got bought by Disney. Ha! Hey, Dave! Ha! It's my new voice now! Ha!
Everybody, we lost Carlos. What other predictions do you have?
I predict that by year's end, Crimea is still going to be on the Russian map. And I predict that Canada will keep its PC majority, perhaps with a new leader, because Stephen Harper, I guess, wants to retire or some shit. Which is sad, because he's the only one keeping that party of horrendous right-wing imbeciles in check. I predict that the Obama administration will still not get anything meaningful done.
They have no power anymore. All he can do is use his executive privilege, and even that can be if he did that. Now that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, they could try and find him in
in contempt.
In contempt,
have him impeached, maybe.
Yeah. So we can basically say that the U.S. is fucked for at least another 2 years.
Oh, things aren't going to get any better.
I'm going to say the next 6 years because they're going to vote in a Republican president. Do you know Donald Trump is thinking of going for president in 2 years?
Not surprised, because Donald Trump is a
idiot.
He has really benefited from how corrupt and messed up the U.S. tax system is, and how easy it is for someone who is rich to just keep tons of their money. And never in history, besides the Dark Ages, have we seen the rich have so much while everyone else has so little. And that's only going to continue because we are dumb. I listen to the Greg Proops podcast. He's a guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? You might know him. He's got glasses. You can hear a little bit.
Mm.
And he's very liberal, but he's very hopeful. He says things are slowly getting better. I disagree with him. I think that he says the generation running things, the old generation, they are the last generation left in the way of real progress. I disagree. I think every generation manages to somehow corrupt the next one, and that we are still in for we may not see in our lifetime a truly progressive world. And that saddens me.
You mentioned Russia. I can see Russia pushing... Well, Russia right now is falling apart because of the cost of oil dropping to the ground. Their economy is hurting more now than all the sanctions that was put on them by different countries.
Not to mention that Arctic sovereignty grab. Oh, good job, all you countries grabbing at the Arctic. Oh, none of you have the right equipment to access those deep water reserves? Oh, none of you? You mean it's hard to drill for that shit in the Arctic Ocean? You dumb fucks. That includes Canada, by the way. Sorry, please continue. Please,
anyway,
I apologize. I'm being rowdy for no reason.
I can actually see Russia pushing hard enough that in 2015 we may see a UN pushback into, is it Crimea?
Crimea?
Crimea.
Yeah. The peninsula that, by all rights, is the Ukraine, and Russia has illegally annexed.
I could also see the Russia being booted from the UN in 2015.
They might veto that, and their ally China will veto it.
No, actually, China is showing more and more signs of trying to keep themselves not being aligned with
they just
Russia.
need one veto, and Russia can hold that veto till the end of time. That's why the UN is so dumb. A veto should not cancel all options. A veto should still have a way to be overridden.
I guess there actually is a clause they've never used.
Oh, there's always a clause they've never used.
That would allow them to, with Russia being the main target of sanctions by the UN, they can use it to cancel Russia's veto. With being the target of all of their...
I guess we'll see. We've seen some historic progress made even this year, like the U.S. and Cuba are talking again. Did you think you were going to see that anytime soon?
Sure, that was happening about 6 years ago.
Yeah, but, finally becoming legitimized.
Yeah.
And funny, Cubans think that's going to introduce crime to their country, which it might. So I just coughed and farted at the same time, and then your lights turned on.
That's because of...
Oh yeah, your roommate upstairs, very loud pacer, turns on lights by simply walking over them.
Yeah. I guess the light's just loose enough that it does that.
Delightful.
It's funny.
Dave, predict more things.
Well, I'm gonna get out of politics because it's just depressing.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yep.
Excellent, okay.
As far as movies and games go for the next year, I mean, there's a lot of games that were delayed from 2014 to 2015, like The Witcher, one Assassin's Creed, a couple other ones, but they're delayed because they didn't want to release bug-ridden games. If one thing that Ubisoft has done for us this year is they have highlighted the need for companies to be willing to delay a game to make sure they work. Yeah.
I'd rather have it delayed and be awesome than out now and be mediocre and wonder what could have been.
The developers of Witcher 3, they came right out and they said, okay, look, I know this is the second time we're delaying it. The game is done. We're just making sure that when we release it, it's not a buggy-filled mess.
You know what company finally delayed a game? It was a game they kickstarted. The guys who made Project Eternity. I forgot what the full title is now. Shadows of Eternity or something. That company, they made Knights of the Old Republic 2. They made that Sega RPG.
They did Fallout 3 New Vegas.
Yeah, what they did the South Park role-playing game. South Park RPG. Stick of Truth. Oh, what the hell are they called, man?
I can just bring up Steam here.
Well, they normally have to rush their games. And they didn't have to.
South Park, The Stick of Truth. Mm-hmm. A game I still have to start playing this year. Next year, maybe. Okay, come on. Where's the details?
You go visit the webpage.
Start page. Obsidian.
Yes, Obsidian actually delayed the game. Obsidian never delays games.
They're never allowed to.
And now, that was the only thing holding them back from true greatness, I think.
Well, yeah, they've always had a contract. The game had to be out by X date.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, they wanted to delay New Vegas at least a month to work out the bugs. Nope. Bethesda said you will have this game out on such a date. What are you going to do? You're the developer, you're the third party, but you have a contract. We're going to get to our segment here pretty quick about where I bring up a list of games and we'll go through a bunch of them that we care about. But
do we really have to do that?
Yes. We've done it every year since this podcast has started. We're going to continue.
Tradition, well, for the sake of tradition, is not smart.
We're doing it. Look, do not make me slap you.
You just slapped the desk. You somehow expect our listeners to think that I'm made of wood. I'm very disappointed in you right now, man. Oh, that wasn't obviously a clap. Okay.
Jump at you.
Okay, bring up that list.
Are there any movies you're looking forward to other than Star Wars?
Nope. Star Wars.
Hey.
Oh, do you hear M. Night Shyamalan's really looking forward to working on Airbenders 2 and 3? Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
I was pretty sure that they weren't going to do a part 2 or part 3 because of how bad part 1 ended up being.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. 6 earthbenders.
I
slowly move one rock.
I don't think 2 and 3 is going to happen.
They better not.
No. They didn't make enough money, and it's universally hated.
Which part of the 5 stages of grief are you in right now? I think you're under bargaining. Yeah, let's rapid fire through these. So we can get to the Shitlord Saga and I can shit all over you.
You got... Holy crap.
Yeah, do you want to just not do this? All we're going to do is we're going to list stuff, say whether or not we want to play.
Hang on.
Do you know how shitty that's going to be to listen to? Our tens of followers are going to be like, I can't believe these 2 fat assholes are doing this.
Okay, then why don't I just quickly look through this list and look at games that I think that are even possible for us to give a fuck about.
Okay, go. You have 3 seconds.
No, I don't. I have more than that. There is nothing in January.
Nope.
Unless you care about Grim Fandango.
Nope. I don't like adventure games.
Right, you suck. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for Wii U.
Don't know. I heard Triple Deluxe was really good on 3DS.
Under Night and Birth EXE in February.
Yeah, I'll probably get it, so I finally have the English version. I have the Japanese version, though. Don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Final Fantasy Type 0.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that.
In March.
I think I'm going to get that one.
Are you going to pre-order it so you can get the demo for $15?
Yeah, I think I am.
My number 9 comes out in April.
I've waited for so long.
The Witcher 3 has been delayed till May.
Uh-huh.
I don't think either one of us cares about Batman Arkham Knight.
Don't you?
No. I haven't even played Batman Arkham Origins. I own it. I just don't really care.
Okay.
After the last one by Rocksteady?
Rocksteady did the first 2.
Yeah. Origins just didn't seem to be as good. They're releasing Bastion on PS4.
Yeah, I knew that. But nothing extra, so no proper final boss.
Damn. Ooh, Carmageddon Reincarnation's finally coming out.
Next!
Don't care?
I'm being a jerk. I know you like Carmageddon.
Crackdown 3 comes out.
Next! See you above.
How about the new Fatal Legends? It's an Xbox only.
Oh, fuck. Next!
Oh, I know a game we have to talk about. How about the insult of Final Fantasy VII?
Well, Final Fantasy VII already sucks, so I mean, this isn't as big as insult as you might think.
Well, no, I
how
think
hilarious.
What they're doing is an insult.
How hilarious is that what's being celebrated?
Releasing for PS4 next year, and it's simply a port of the PC version.
I was going to shit on Square for continuing to put Final Fantasy VII up on this pedestal it does not deserve. But I also have to shit on people somehow thinking 7's not only the best one, but even slightly worthwhile. It's actually rather mediocre.
Yeah.
It isn't better than 6. It isn't better than 4. It isn't better than Tactics. I don't know. It isn't better than 10. And my opinion of 10 has really fallen in the last couple of years.
More for me than you, Just Cause 3.
Did you just call it Just Cause?
Yes, I did. Why am I doing this? Just cause.
Good work.
My only disappointment in that game is they're not going to launch it with multiplayer outside of the door. They're going to add it in later, maybe. Yeah, I love that.
Nice.
The PC version, the only reason it has multiplayer is because fans coded it into the game, and then they actually made it official.
Was that Just Cause 2 that did that?
Just Cause 2,
Yeah,
yes.
I gotta clarify. Because the way you said it made it sound like fans already have their hands on Just Cause 3.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mario Party.
Don't read everything on the list, man.
I'm just looking at the ones that are the highlights. No Man's Sky I'm interested in.
It's probably going to be just Space Minecraft, but if people can craft cool missions around that, I might be interested.
Yeah. Ori and the Blind Forest. Looks like a neat platformer.
Yeah, I saw that.
At E3.
Possibly.
Persona 5.
Only if it takes place in America. Actually, I'm probably not going to play the RPG.
That doesn't
I'm going to
surprise
look
me.
forward more to the fighting game that comes out of it.
Probably. I'm interested in Rise of the Tomb Raider, but only if it comes to PC.
I'm interested in your face. No homo.
Nice. Shovel Knight for PS4. Splatoon. New Star Fox game for Wii U.
I'm really not interested in Splatoon. Star Fox, maybe. I have a love-hate relationship with Star Fox. The games.
Oh! Steins Gate for PS3.
Dave? You want me to hurt you?
The new Legend of Zelda sometime in fall/autumn. Now, if that's American, I somehow doubt. There's another Ultra Street Fighter 4 is coming to PS4.
Yes, that's right. There's a PS4 version.
Oh. Not the new Xenoblade Chronicles X. And that's it.
Sweet.
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah, I want to play that because I really like Kirby's Epic Yarn.
A little bit too easy.
Way too easy, but great two-player, and if it had a difficulty selector, it might well have been one of the best platformers ever. Really, the 2D co-op was handled so much better than the Mario co-op, and even better than the Donkey Kong ones.
Never had the chance to try it. Oh, I guess J-Star's Victory Versus comes out for PS3 and PS4.
One of those games is actually coming out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we good with our list?
I think we're good, because there's really not that many outstanding, oh my goodness, I must play kind of games coming out. We're both interested in the new Final Fantasy, hoping that it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Going through this list, though, I'm actually kind of surprised. There's not as many RPGs as I thought, so that's not good.
Well, you can mention that as a shitlord in our latest section, the Shitlord Saga. Let us begin with Dave. You are in the Shitlord Saga this week for the way you eat Oreos. Okay. So I've kind of gotten over the fact that you eat weirdo double-stuffed Oreos instead of normal-ass Oreos like every other person. But, folks, here's how Dave eats his Oreos. He opens it. He eats only the side that has the double-stuffed cream. So already he is eating, even though these double-stuffed things have already much more cream than cookie, he's reducing the cookie amount further. And then the other half gets thrown away. Woohoo! Unbelievable. There are children starving in the world.
I'll be glad to send them the other side.
That is at once the most horrifying and brilliant response to that anyone could have crafted. For that alone, I think I'm done talking about you in the Shitlord Saga this week.
Where?
Here's another shitlord for you, not enough RPGs, so the year 2015 is a shitlord. At least for now. Hackers are shitlords. Whether it's Gamergate supporters who are harassing women, or people who are taking down, online services like Warlords of Draenor and PSN, fuck you. Yeah, okay, there's a case to be made that corporations should have better security because they're handling consumer data. And despite what a lot of you MRA shitheads may think, no, women don't have to prevent their own rapes, you dumb motherfuckers. But regardless, and rapes can be substituted with any kind of bullying or assault in that context. But yeah, fuck you hackers who are all doing it for the lulz, because somehow you sadistic pieces of shit take pleasure in the misery of
Swatters.
others. Swatters count in that category as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, fuck swatters too. Anyone who just gets off on other people's misery and causes that misery for no good reason. Are we good? We done? Are we out of here?
I think we're good.
All right, folks, thank you so much for listening. We're at twofatguystalk.com or carlosanddaveanimerave.com. Be sure to send us a voicemail when you go there. You can find us on Twitter. I am at Handsome Fat Man.
I'm at the Dude Hack.
And together, collectively, we are at Two Fat Guys Talk. Send us tweets if you want us to reply to stuff on the podcast, or if you want to chat, just say hi. Hi, how you doing? You can find us on iTunes. Just look for Two Fat Guys Talk. Many thanks to Camilla Cow for our new album art. If you look on the last podcast description, and I'll try to remember to put it in this podcast description, which will make 3 in a row. I think that's enough time typing her site. I might still keep doing it, though. You can find her site and her awesome designs and commission some of her works and just shoot some positive attention her way. She also plays a mean Ibuki. Dave, anything else?
No, I think we'll see our listeners in 2015.
Yeah, have a happy new year. See you on the flip side of the new year. And let us survive the Armageddon together.
We're out.
Just cocks everywhere.